What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. It's been a while, it's been about 3 weeks, but the new generation Mustang just came out and I kind of wanted to talk about it. So, I know I'm a little late, it's been about 3 days since it got revealed. So, I wanted to talk about the EcoBoost, the 4th generation Coyote engine, and then the Dark Horse Mustang, which is new for the lineup. So let's start with the styling. The new front end for each car is actually different. So the EcoBoost looks different to the 5.0, the Mustang GT, which looks different to the Dark Horse Mustang. So it's super easy, well, a little bit easier to differentiate. Like say you're on the street, you'll be able to see one car and you'll be able to tell which one it is without having to look at badges or anything like that. In the past, it was a little bit more tricky. Honestly, when the photos leaked, I really wasn't feeling the new generation car, but it looks like those photos that leaked were pictures of the EcoBoost, and personally I think the EcoBoost is like the ugliest one. Not to say that it's bad, I think those leaks didn't do the car much justice, but the 5.0 and the Dark Horse look really good. The S650 is just a refresh of the S550. It's the same chassis. It still has the long front end and the short butt fastback styling that a muscle car normally has. This gen does look a little bit more sportier than muscular. Personally, I like it. I can see why someone might prefer like the S197 styling because it's a bit more muscular. If we go around to the back, this is where I start to have an issue with the new car. So the front end looks very aggressive. There's a whole bunch of vents everywhere. It has a vent on the top, so there's vents in the grille, air through, and it's coming out the top of the hood. That all looks great, the stance, but the tail is where I start to have like my issues, obviously. So the tail lights are very simple. They're very plain, just 3 bars like slit down the center. Well, it's like angled. It looks like if you look at it directly from behind, it looks flat. If you look at it at an angle, it looks bent. Honestly, I don't like them. That's, if I were to get that car, I would probably change them out right away once some aftermarket parts are available. The butt looks thinner compared to the last gen, which I feel iffy about right now. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. The small wing does look amazing. It looks like the old style, the 2023, the wings that are on the GTs, but it looks a bit more aggressive. The new car will also have a new variety of wheels to choose from. Personally, whatever the wheels the car comes with don't really matter to me because I'm kind of got to get aftermarket wheels anyway, unless they were to come with the carbon fiber wheels that the GT350Rs have and the GT350s. Unless they came with the wheels that the GT350R and the GT500. But if I were to choose, I would keep the wheels that the Dark Horse has because they look really good. Those are really good looking wheels from the factory. Now if we look at the interior, the S650 comes with a whole new interior. It looks amazing. The interior alone is kind of what's making me consider trading in my car for the new car once it does come out. Something that was like a make or break for me when I was shopping around for my GT350 was you needed to get Recaros. I had to have Recaros no matter what. It's a track oriented car, so having those bucket seats are like a big deal for me. But there's times where I do wish I had heating and cooling seats for these cold winters in Reno and super hot summers. Something else in the new generation car that I really like was that giant screen. With the new display, you can mix and match the modes in the car, like suspension stiffness and exhaust loudness. It even highlights the area that you are changing. It truly looks like a video game. Lastly is the dash. It looks very modern, very up to date, and you can even change it to be like a Fox Body-esque dash. I've never driven a Fox Body. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like them all that much, but I still think that's pretty cool. I think that's something really cool that Ford did, that it's like paying homage to its older model. Now let's talk each trim. I'm not going to talk much about the EcoBoost Mustang because let's be honest, what we really care about is the big V8s. But the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder turbo is back, but Ford says a bit beefed up. I'm not sure where I read this, but I do remember, and it was rumored that it was going to be bumped up to around 360 horsepower, which is pretty good. That's pretty close to the first generation Coyote that was making about 410 horsepower, I think, at the time in 2014. It's going to be getting an electric turbo. That's something new in a Ford car. So it's going to be the first Ford car to have an electric turbo. Now let's talk about the 4th gen Coyote. The 4th gen Coyote now has 2 intakes and 2 throttle bodies. This is huge. Twice the breathing power means more horsepower and more potential. I mean, this engine is basically begging to get twin turboed. I can't wait to see what people do with this new 5.0 with some tuning and aftermarket parts. The Gen 3 5.0 was making close to 800 horsepower with a supercharger. That's kind of crazy, think about it. And that was with the conservative tune. Now imagine what a 4th Coyote engine is capable of. The car comes with a 6-speed Tremec transmission that comes with the GT350s and the Mach 1. And that's great news because we all know how bad the MT82 manuals were. Last but not least, the Dark Horse model. The Dark Horse Mustang will be making the most power out of the whole lineup. It's a bit lowered and aesthetically looks better than the 5.0. Now the front fascia, there's 2 holes that bring in air to the intakes. Now for the 5.0s or just the regular base GT models, the holes are a bit angled like this, and for the Dark Horse they're flat. It looks a little bit more muscular. That's kind of taking it back to its roots. Another change, that this car gets new badges that are a small black horse on the side of the fenders, normally where the 5.0 badges are located, and on the back where the GT badge used to be. The front still has the pony, which I wish they would have just put the Dark Horse on there. It looks pretty cool. It's pretty intimidating too. Ford during the reveal said that this car will be making 500 horsepower naturally aspirated. This is good because this is exactly what you want in a muscle car. Rear wheel drive, 6-speed manual transmission or just a manual transmission in general, and a high horsepower V8. That's basically a recipe for a muscle car. Now when they asked Ford how much horsepower this is going to be making, they said, let's go with, and I quote, with 500 horsepower. So when I first saw that, it made me think that possibly that maybe they didn't test this engine yet, which it could be making a little bit more than 500, and if not that, maybe that's like the limit they can go as far because of these strict emission laws. If they're just telling us it's 500 horsepower and it ends up being more than 500 horsepower, that'd be a great surprise. Now the only thing that worries me is that the car weighs over 3,800 pounds. It makes sense considering the huge upgrade in the interior. All these new materials, the better high quality materials are going to weigh a little bit more. And with the same chassis, it's still, remember, it's still the same chassis as the S650. It's just going to add weight to the car. I believe the Mach 1s were just over 3,800, and so will this car. So the power to weight ratio is still going to be a little bit better, but I'm curious to see how it's going to perform compared to the newer Mustang GTs and compared to the Mach 1 and of course my car, the Shelby GT3. So this is basically like a huge victory lap for Ford, considering that Dodge has gone completely electric, and then also that the Camaro is being cut out of the lineup for Chevy in the next couple years. So yeah, these are my thoughts on the new S650. I think it's an amazing looking car. I'm really looking forward to driving one. I might trade my car in. I haven't decided yet. I guess I gotta see what people think about it, some reviews, and when people finally get to drive it. Something that I thought was funny but also was pretty cool is that on the key fob there's gonna be a button where you can rev the car. So say you're walking towards your car with a couple of friends, you want to flex on them a little bit, you can turn it on and then start revving it. One thing about that is that, I don't know if everybody knows, but you're not supposed to rev an engine when it's cold. So you kind of have to let it warm up first. So hopefully people know that, so they don't damage their engine. Well, all in all, these are my thoughts on the newly revealed S650 Mustang. If you can, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more Mustang content, and let me know what your thoughts are on the car. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you going to trade in your car for this car? Or are you just going to flat out buy it, keep whatever you got? Let me know. And that's going to be the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.